Today, let's talk expression. How to express yourself better, given that we already got accuracy covered, that is. When I think of being expressive, I instantly think of three criteria: sense, clarity, and ambience. And in today's video, I want to tackle the linguistic tools that can help you meet all of them. So, I don't care how beautiful you are, how well you dressed, or how mesmerized your accent makes me feel. Actually, I do care about all of those things. But what I want to say is that I refused to listen to you if you don't make sense. I'm sorry, I don't have time for your bullshit. I have an American Horror Story marathon to attend to, so. For some reason, I'm under the impression that a lot of people think that they can just lay down all the ideas in their head on the table and automatically people will be able to figure out the meaning behind them, the big picture. But that is not the case. The ideas also have to be organized in a logical order. From your perspectives to the audience understanding, it's a long journey, and your job as a speaker is to walk them through it. And what are the better guidelines than connecting words? In the search of the right connecting words, though, one thing that should be defined beforehand is the logical relation you're addressing. So whether it is cause-effect or chronology, it could also be contrast or reciprocality. Start using more connecting words, and I promise you, not only you make more sense as you speak, but you also be able to think more rationally. Not to mention that those connecting words double as the transitioning tool, so you'll be more fluid in your speaking. It's safe to say that if you want to explain yourself better, you can be ambiguous. So probably it's not wise to throw out a statement into the abyss without backing it up with some sort of reasoning. And the easiest way to do that is to provide evidence. It could be example or it could be comparison. Especially when you're touching an issue that is inherently complicated and hard to explain.
What's your opinion about Channel 14?
You might spend all day trying to analyze it, or you might as well just say, the way that I feel about Channel 14 is exactly the same about cheesecake. I know they're not good for my health, but I can't stop eating them. And I'm pretty sure everybody will get what you mean. Speaking of evidences, I want to spotlight a particular type of example, which is personalization. If you can attach any personal experience with the matter at hand, you'll be able to turn something that's seemingly miles away and completely unrealistic into something nearby and very much relatable. As a result, your argument will be evidently more believable. Which is why you've never seen a commercial that stops at "Prepare for your mind to be blown away by this new anti-aging moisturizer, a revolution in skincare technology." It always goes the extra mile to sound more convincing. I used to have very, very bad skin. It was like wrinkled and old and it was like sagging and I didn't have like any confidence at all. But this moisturizer like changed my life. Like I'm in the movie of Benjamin Button or something. It's amazing. Now at this stage, I believe that you're more than capable of telling whatever story needed to be told. And it's going to be a good story. But let's make it even better. Not just a good story, let's tell a fascinating one, an alluring one, so that people don't just want to hear about it, they would love to. This is where ambience comes into the picture. You want to inject a little bit of vivaciousness, a little bit of juiciness and animation and nuance into your speaking. And my favorite way of doing that is undoubtedly using adverbs, because they are much akin to Instagram filters, instant and effective. Or shall I say, instantly effective, in the spirit of Valentine's Day, which is very much at the corners, by the way. Let me show you what a difference adverbs can make to your expression. Furthermore, your romantic life. You look amazing. That dress is very flattering. I like it a lot. Wow. You look deliciously amazing. Your dress is heart-stoppingly flattering. I like it a lot. Now you tell me, which one do you think she would prefer to hear? So that is the 3 easy tools that you can use to jazz up your expression. The last thing that I want to say is that there are a lot of factors to a powerful speaker, but one thing that I know for a certainty that you don't have to be physically powerful in order to do so. Because words alone are powerful enough if you know how to have your way with them. I'll see you next time. Goodbye. Hi everyone. I've seen a comment in one of my videos asking my opinion on a certain English book, so I thought why not dedicate an entire video to address all study materials in general, because I think they're a topic very worth addressing. First of all, I think I should just be upfront and tell you straight away my honest opinion on generic English book. I think the majority of them, about 95%, it's complete rubbish. My biggest problem with those books is that they are unrealistic. The information probably hasn't been updated since 2001, and the chosen topics are not exactly relevant. Meaning, those are the kind of topics that you probably don't even bother to give a shit about. And the dialogues, in which class are you studying? I am in 8th standard. What about you? I am in 9th standard. Who says things like that in real life? Besides, if you pay attention, you notice that the range of activities that they have you involved in remains unchanged. It doesn't matter whether you're 8-year-old or 18, you'll still be doing the same kinds of things anyway. If not, multiple choices question, it would be mix and match or eliminating the wrong answer. Been there, done that, sick of them, period. I've never seen English as a kind of subject, as maths or physics, where you have to read maths or physics books in order to approach them. English, it's a language, which means it's not a static. It's an ever-changing, ever-evolving, living, breathing creature that you can find in everything, everywhere you look at. That entails that if you want to practice your reading skills in English, you just read whatever you feel like reading as long as it's English. Same go with other skills. I think the key to that is that we shouldn't perceive things too technically. Like, watching a cooking show doesn't mean you're not learning anything in English. Quite on the contrary. I think shows like MasterChef provide you a ton of practical vocabulary about culinary and food and cooking and stuff that I dare you to find in those fancy English documents you're so fond of. That approach leaves open not just a few, but an endless supply of resources. Great! Which can be annoying sometimes. Seriously? You have to ruin everything, don't you? Let me explain. This kind of aligns with the situation where you have a closet full of clothes, but you still don't know what to wear and not just wearing jeans and t-shirts like everyone else. The overabundance of options can be overwhelming and intimidating, so much so you decide it's better just stick with what you know best. The easy thing that you're most comfortable with. Now, this is not where I'm being patronizing on you. Oh, there's so many better options out there. You just haven't found it. I'm just speaking from my personal experience. Because a few years ago, it would strike me as a completely asinine thought to visit any other size rather than Nike-X. But at the same time, I was always struggling with expressing myself because my vocabulary wasn't versatile enough for me to be as eloquent as I'd like myself to be. So that was when I knew I had to change. And when I say change, I mean change for the better, not for the worse or the equivalent, because that would make no difference. So I replaced my People magazine for The Guardian, The Economist, The New York Times, and I've traded my precious mangas for novels. Still can ditch Nike-X though. God knows we need some mindless fun from time to time. And the reason I've been talking a lot about reading is because it's my favorite thing to do. So just find the kind of activity that you enjoy the most, that works out the best for you, and explore its capacity to the fullest. Now let's tackle the most nagging question, how much is enough? This is really hard to indicate a specific number because, well, first of all, everyone is different. Some people have no problems occupying themselves with research for hours without any issues. Some others, including myself, cannot sit their asses still for more than 1 hour at a time. Secondly, saying that feels too much like you're being forced into doing something you don't want. And that can develop a certain level of resentment against starting. Most importantly, it's about quality, not quantity. You can turn anything into an educational experience if you put your mind into it. Even if you're chilling out, having the time of your life on Facebook, you can still switch to your starting mode by navigating yourself toward more informative sites. Pages of news channels or newspapers. YouTube also has great educational channels. My favorite being the Vlog Brother. Fairness is not the most entertaining thing to do, attaching yourself with mind-boggling issues around the world. I've had plenty of those moments of sluggishness, and what I try to do at the time is to push myself a little bit. Is give myself a margin of 10 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes staying on NBC, then I can go back to watching New Girl. Okay, let me just finish this blog post of 10-minute read, then I can go back to whatever makeup tutorials I feel like watching on YouTube. Most of the times, I find that 10 minutes pass by and I get sucked into whatever I'm reading, or I start browsing for more, having completely forgotten about New Girl or makeup tutorial altogether. So that is it for today's video. Again, this has been a completely personal opinion. It's fine if you don't agree with me, and I will see you next time. Hi everyone, so this is going to be my last video on this channel. Wow, that was one hell of an introduction, don't you think? Initially, I meant to go all the wall on you, but then I thought it'd be kind of a dick move. So, I've had a couple of personal reasons that have led me to the decision of leaving this channel. Don't worry, I'm going to do the whole touchy-feely farewell part, but it's going to be at the end. Because after all, we still got a video to tend to. In this video, I actually want to share with you my journey with English. This should have been done a long time ago. I just said I thought it would be better to, talk about more general stuff than about myself. I don't need to be more self-serving than I already am, you know what I'm saying? Ugh. It's terrible anyway. For the first time ever, there will be no gimmicks in this video. It's just gonna be me rambling your ears off, so brace yourself and let's write. To begin with, there are a few things that I think should be clarified. I have never lived in a foreign country, especially the States. I don't know if I should be flattered or perplexed by that assumption. I've always been living in Hanoi ever since I was born. I know it's a lot of people's dream to reside in the US, but it's never been mine. Don't like guns, and I don't like American comedians. I don't find them funny at all, so sue me. Where was I? Oh yeah, English wasn't even my first foreign language. It was French. Studying French the entire length of my adolescence. By the way, the French stuff that we learned, it wasn't the easygoing type thing. It was legit. Things that I can still speak a bit of French now that I haven't practiced since forever ago. Bonjour, merci, that pretty much sums up everything you need to know in French anyway. I guess I officially started my English learning since grade 11. And like everyone else, I have ventured in between a number of English centers in Hanoi, but overall I wasn't satisfied with what I learned. The stuff that I wanted most, they didn't teach me. So at one point I just got fed up. I might as well just do this on my own. I wasn't gonna waste any more money on them. That began a new chapter of relentless and rigorous self-education. If only that was true. In reality, pretty much the opposite. Me studying consists of a lot of TV watching and YouTube wondering and fictions devouring. I take English very seriously, but I don't take studying it seriously, nor do I take myself too seriously. There's a philosophy behind it. If you think about it, native speakers, they were born fluent in their languages. More like they've been surrounded by people who speak that language their entire lives, so they kind of have no choice but to grow into being a fluent speaker. That's where my headspace at. What I've always tried to do is to create an English-speaking environment on my own for myself, and it sounds very depressing, but I rather educate myself on the stuff that I truly give a shit about than wasting my time attending some classes to let people bullshitting me and breathing down my neck. Moving on to a few invaluable lessons that I've collected along the way.
I don't believe in improving your English by solely focusing on one skill at a time. You can't disintegrate one from another because they have each other's back. For example, you can't speak well if you suck at listening. Speaking of speaking, now I don't have any magical techniques. As I mentioned earlier, I watch a lot of stuff. TV sitcoms, comedy shows, YouTube videos, the whole shebang. I tend to mimic the way that people speak on those shows, and I think that is a good basic start for me to develop my own style of speaking. What I like to do all the time is introducing words and expressions that I think sound kind of cool into my speaking. I think that is how I put what I've learned into practice. Don't shy away from being an aggressive speaker. Like, people comment that I come across a bit intense all the time. But you know what? Better that than speaking with no intonation, no strength, no conviction. Sense of humor, it's fundamental. The most genius word in the history of the language of English, in my opinion, is fuck. Fuck is just the one-of-a-kind word that you can put any fucking where and it would make completely fucking sense. It's fucking beautiful. Reading, I think, plays the most elementary role in my learning as a whole. And yes, I used to be a fan of the Twilight Saga until the movie came along. In hindsight, probably you shouldn't have listened to me. My advice sounds kind of shit, even to my own ear. I'm telling you all these things not because I want to brag about myself. I just want to stress that I have no privileged background as a student in English. I'm just a normal human being. I have no special talents or abilities. But the biggest reason why English works for me, in my opinion, it's because I have no obligation to study it. I don't study English because I want to go abroad or because I want to show off or anything like that. I just simply do it because I love English as a language. And I think when you do things you love, it will work out. It will definitely work out. On the making videos note, now I didn't know what I was getting myself into at first. The biggest challenge, though, is to explain myself in a sensible manner for people to understand. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a scholar either. I'm just a student and I'm only speaking from my perspective. So I know it might sound biased from time to time, but I think that is what's unique about YouTube videos anyway. They are personal, so they feel more approachable and more relatable in a way. Overall, I've been tremendously thrilled with all the support, both from people whom I know, as well as people whom I never had a chance to meet. Especially when last year has been a very rough year to me personally. It has been the toughest year of my life. From the bottom of my heart, I just want to say I honestly and truthfully grateful for you. It has been a hell of a ride, to say the least. It's been quite a short one, but a sweet one, I think. Dare I hope you will preserve some nice memory about a crazy person making videos on YouTube? Girl can dream, you know. At last, I just want to say I wish you all the best in your journeys with English. Thank you and goodbye.